At one time, I coached the #1 songwriter in Nashville, had more ASCAP awards than any other songwriter in the history of Nashville, and he called me at 82, and he said, I still think I got one more good swing in me. Will you be my coach? Potential is not specific to age. It is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored inside of you until that potential is activated. I'll be better today than I was yesterday. I'll be better tomorrow than I am today. And I will never stop getting better unless what? Unless I choose to stop getting better. I was speaking once at the Final Four, and after I won a championship, I went to speak at the Final Four, and every major college coach in America was there, okay? I mean, I'm talking like everybody who was anybody was there, and I'm speaking on a new book I had written called The Anatomy of Winning, which is basically how you deconstruct winning and winning championships. And it's the very first time I'd given this presentation because it was a brand new book that I had out. And right as I got ready to speak, the woman who introduced me stepped on the cord as she was walking off the stage, and all the power went out. And I said, it's a good thing I know what's in that book, right? Because if it don't, we're not good. Listen, my name's Coach Micheal Burt. Let's start off by asking a question. How many of you have ever had a good coach at some point in your life? Raise your hand, please. Let's look around the room. How many of you ever had a bad coach at some point in your life? Look around the room, okay? And the bad coaches make you appreciate the good coaches, right? I like to say there's 800,000 people in the United States today that call themselves a coach. The average income of those coaches is roughly $47,000 a year. So you do not want to be getting business coaching from somebody making 47 grand. Yes or no?
No.
Okay, you want somebody who's won something, done something, built something, created something. You're actually sitting in about an $8 million idea that I had in 2016 called the Greatness Factory. In 2016, God gave me a vision to build this building. I like to tell people it took me 8 years, 4 tries, and $8 million to build it, okay? And it was the manifestation of a concept that started many, many years ago when I was a high school women's basketball coach. Moms and dads would bring me their kids, and they all said the same thing. Coach, my daughter has a lot of what? Potential. Sometimes they said attitude. Sometimes they said issues. Y'all got kids?
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But many times they would say my daughter has a lot of potential, which is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored until activated. I'm coaching people right now, some of those people 82 years old. At one time, I coached the #1 songwriter in Nashville, had more ASCAP awards than any other songwriter in the history of Nashville, and he called me at 82. And he said, I still think I got one more good swing in me. Will you be my coach? Potential is not specific to age. It is an idea of kinetic energy that is stored inside of you until that potential is activated, right? Or until you choose. So think of it as an idea of embryonic growth. I'll be better today than I was yesterday. I'll be better tomorrow than I am today. And I will never stop getting better unless what? Unless I choose to stop getting better. So how many of you have ever seen a person that said they had 25 years of experience in the insurance business, but they didn't have 25 years. They actually had 1 year repeated 25 times. And they're not any better 25 years in than they were the day that they started, right? Because they made a decision not to get better. So moms and dads would bring their kids to me at 14. They would say, my daughter has a lot of potential. And then they would go through a whole list of things that she needed. What do you think those things were? Training. Okay, and training is not something you did. It's something you do. The military doesn't hand a person a machine gun and say, watch a video. Good luck. If you watch Maverick the movie, when they're flying around in those airplanes, they actually train more than they actually fly. They only fly about 45 minutes a day because it's so intense, right? So they train more than that. So training is not something you did, it's something you do. It's engaging people in a set of systematic behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow that they cannot do today. This is the #1 thing I noticed when I got into corporate America, is there was no training. There was no development. We expect people to get better, but they never train. They never get coached, right? So they would say, my daughter has a lot of potential. She just needs training. What else does she need? Because I want to correlate this to what insurance people need. What else do they say? What do your kids need? Direction. Discipline, which is a derivative of the word disciple, which means to give yourself to a person or cause you believe in. I ask people, do you believe in your future? What do you think people tell me around the U.S.? I've never had a person tell me no. Where does your future live? A lot of people go, it lives here. No, it lives in your imagination. I cannot see your future. In 2016, I had a vision to build a greatness factory, right? And I had the ability, the grit and resilience and the toughness to take that idea and see it through to its conclusion. I didn't start and quit when it got hard. I didn't start and give up when it didn't work. Everybody with me? We are now licensing this concept, and people are paying about $250,000 to license this concept around the U.S. Then they pay a royalty back to me to be able to have their own greatness factory in their city. So when you hear me talk about having 50 of these, I really only have one. But in my mind, I have 50. Everybody with me? And when I start talking about it and speaking it into the world, people start calling me going, hey man, I'd like to have one here and I'd like to have one here. So we're actually licensing the concept to people around the United States. But I went there in the mind before I went there in the body. All things are created twice, first mentally, then physically. You'll never have a big insurance agency if you see yourself small. And I spent 4 years in the prison system rehabilitating maximum security offenders. For 4 years, I went into the toughest prisons in Tennessee to rehabilitate people, to get them out of prison and keep them out of prison, which was a very tough assignment. And I would show up every day, and there was a woman at the front desk, and she was real positive and real upbeat. She'd say, Coach Burt, you can't go big if little got you. And I thought, that's a good saying, right? You can't go big if little got you. So moms and dads would bring me their kids at 14 years old, and they would give me a list of things they needed. Discipline, focus, accountability, structure, confidence, which is the memory of success. And that is different than boldness, which is a striking fearlessness. And then they would say, my daughter just needs something. And I would say, well, thank you for bringing your daughter to the greatness factory, where we're going to manufacture her greatness. Can we manufacture greatness in a person? Could an insurance agency be a greatness factory? Could we take a person who has some knowledge and some skill and some desire and some confidence, and could over a cycle of time we begin to grow their knowledge, grow their skill, grow their desire, and grow their confidence? And on the other end of this, they become much better than they are today. And how many of you believe it's very important who's coaching you? I always like to say who's coaching you is more important than who the President of the United States is. Who's coaching your kids is more important than who the President of the United States is, because they have more impact over your kids, right? Now, on average, I spent 5.5 hours a day with those kids. And I did that. I was in that role for 16 years of my life. So I woke up and I had one dominant focus, and that was to win a championship and build a championship team. And so I woke up and I went to work on the whole person, what we call the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. So when I'm coaching insurance people, the first big lesson is, as we get into this topic today, because what I'm going to seek to do is I'm going to work to activate something inside of you. Something that may have been dormant. Something that may have been latent. Something that may be undeveloped in you. Now, you may call that motivation, which means to move, or inspiration, which means to breathe life into. For the purposes of this talk, we're going to call it your prey drive. P-R-E-Y-D-R-I-V-E. Anybody know what that word prey drive means? Who has an animal in here? Who has a dog in here? Okay, that's exactly right. Maybe you guys have read the book. So an animal has a dog has a prey drive. It is the dog's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. And at 41 years old, I was sitting in a workshop being taught by a former Vietnam veteran. His job was to be in the war dog division of the Vietnam War. Anybody know what their role is in that division? It's to wake up every morning in the jungle, go ahead of the infantry with nothing but a dog. The dog's job is to snip out bombs, booby traps, ambushes. I want you to think of the psychology, the self-talk that you would have to tell yourself every day waking up in that jungle. I'm not going to die today. I'm going ahead of the infantry. I'm depending on this animal, right? Now think about when you sell insurance. Any day you think selling insurance is hard, I want you to think about waking up in the middle of that jungle. I want you to think about getting your mind ready for what your body's about to do. I want you to think about the psychology and self-talk of being positive. It's called positive self-expectancy, or positive expectancy. You expect good things to happen versus bad things. So he talked about a concept called prey drive. okay, and Preydrive. And at first I didn't know what it is. And I'm like, what is he talking about? This is so fascinating. And when you write books like I do, I'm on book number 24 today. And when you write books like I do, you're like a songwriter looking for a hook. Every conversation, I'm like, now that's a good concept. And I'll hear something, I go, that's a good concept. Could I make that into a best-selling book? And so when he said Preydrive, my brain heard not deja vu, which is something you have heard before. It heard vujade, which is a fresh twist on an old way of thinking. And I go, I could do something with that concept. And so I look it up, I Google it, and I say, Preydrive, what is it? An animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. I had a huge revelation. Revelation is a sudden, dramatic moment. And I go, humans have a Preydrive. Everybody with me? I immediately called my intellectual, I stepped out, called my intellectual property attorney, and I said, I want to trademark those two words, Preydrive in humans. That means nobody else on planet Earth can talk about these two words in a human except me. And I go, I'm going to build my own motivational theory around these two words because I think you have a Preydrive inside of you. So what is a Preydrive in a human? At the end of the day, a Preydrive in a human is an instinct to pursue. What are we pursuing? A lead, an opportunity, potential, strategic partnership. Chase told you his story. He saw me on Instagram. He got activated. He contacted me. He had a vision. He said, I need a coach. Will you help me? And by the way, we helped him, yes, in the first year, build over $1 million coaching business in 1 year. Now, go try to do that on your own. If you think selling insurance is hard, try selling what I'm selling. Which is intangible. It is invisible. It is a future. You're selling a product. You with me? Okay? So, and I bet sometimes you go, it's so hard to sell this, man. It's so hard to sell this product. Or right, whatever you tell yourself. So your Preydrive is your instinct to pursue, and I begin to give this a definition. It is an instinctual ability to see something with the eyes or in the mind, and to pursue it with a persistence and an intensity. It is an instinctual ability to see something with the eyes, that's optically, or in the mind, which would be your imagination, and to have the persistence and the intensity to get up and go get it. So we could train you on cross-selling. Okay, if I broke down the sales cycle today, I would break it down, and we could train you in lead generation. We could train you in the explanation of value. We could train you in how to locate the ambition or problem of a person. We can train you in how to connect with the person quickly, lower walls of resistance, intrinsically validate another person. We can train you how to go for the close, which means to bring two things together or bring something to an end. We could coach you in how to follow up and convert. We could coach you in how to engage with your clients after the sale to get 6 referrals. Could we coach you on all those things? Yes or no? None of that happens if the Preydrive is not activated. Where there's no Preydrive, there's no profit. See, a lot of business people want to sell their businesses when they're tired of it, when they're sick of it. The time to sell a business is when it's doing well. The time to sell is when it's doing well. Most people get sick of it, they're tired of it, and then they go, I want to sell this business because I hate this business, and I'm tired of this business, and I don't want to go to this business, and I don't want to talk to people. As a matter of fact, I don't even like people. Okay, you with me? And then they want to sell the business when the business is actually declining. What really happened, guys, is they lost their Preydrive. And Preydrive is an instinct in you to see something and to pursue it. So when I was writing this book, I actually studied the top 20 motivational theories on what actually motivates people. I then deconstructed those theories. I then codified those theories. Then I came out with my own theory of motivation because almost every one of those things say the same thing. We move toward things we want. We move away from things that cause us pain, and we move toward things that we want. What happens when we don't want anything? So Chase has got a coaching program. He goes deep into the weeds and how to coach you, how to build, grow, scale an agency. Okay? He could show you exactly step by step how to build the agency, just like he has, at the rapid rate that he has. But if you don't have this one thing that I'm talking about today, all of the knowledge in the world, Og Mandino said this in The Greatest Salesman in the World, all of your dreams, all of your goals are useless without this one thing, right? And that one thing is your ability to get up every day and go get it. So when I'm writing this book, I'm studying these theories and I'm studying animals. And guess what I found out about the animals? Satisfied needs never motivate, number one. Only unsatisfied needs. And when you're studying dogs, there is no external factor that motivates that animal more than its mere ability to go pursue the prey. Everybody hear what I just said? There is no external factor that motivates that animal more than its mere ability to do what? Get up and go get it. So I was coaching this guy once. We did a couples retreat. We did couples retreats down in Florida at our house in Florida. And there was a guy there who bought world-class hunting dogs. And he goes, gosh, man, this concept is so on the money. I said, when are those dogs most excited? He said, when they know they get to go hunting. Now, if you go toward the end of your life, my mother worked in a nursing home before she retired, and she was a nurse her entire life and deeply passionate about taking care of elderly people. And I called her one day and I said, why do people pass away at the end of their lives, Mom? And she said 3 reasons. Number 1, they run out of money. And because they run out of money, they run out of good care. My grandfather spent almost his entire fortune that he built in his life having 24-hour care at the end of his life, because that's what he wanted. So all the millions of dollars he worked hard for as an entrepreneur, he became a single-digit millionaire. He ran through all of that money having 24-hour care. Everybody with me? She said, number 1, they run out of money. There comes a day when winter asks what you've been doing all spring and summer. And winter's always coming, yes or no? The business gives you money. The business should give you profits. The business should give you excess cash that you can then reinvest for your future. So all your future days are paid for. Everybody with me? Okay, there comes a day when winter asks what you've been doing all spring and summer. So she said, number 1, they run out of money. She said, number 2, they run out of love. Nobody comes to see them. Nobody comes to visit them. Their family members forget about them. She said the only love they get is from the love from the nurses and the other residents. Everybody with me? She said that's the number 2 reason they pass away. Now, this is outside of natural causes, right? She said, but son, you really want to know why they pass away? And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, they run out of purpose. They don't have anything to get up and go pursue. Joe Paterno was the coach at Penn State. He walked 25 miles a day. He ran gassers with his linemen. When they fired him at Penn State, he was dead in less than 6 months. Why? They took away his purpose. You with me? If you give an elderly person a plant, something to tend to at the end of their life, they live longer. And by the way, optimists live 7 years longer than pessimists do. So for all the negative people in the world, being a pessimist is more detrimental than smoking is. Now, I want you to think about this. So what are you pursuing, okay? Now, if you come in today and you say, well, I'm satisfied and I've got a good life and I make a good living and I drive a good car and I make good money, then that is the problem. Yes or no? Satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. So when you ask what really happens to a lot of insurance people is they become complacent. And the reason they become complacent is because all of their basic needs are met. You with me? I got a better life than I used to have. So what is the definition of complacency? It is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. And the word mediocre means to go halfway up the mountain. Now, I put my 3 kids in the car this morning. We have a 13-year-old daughter who's a cheerleader. She just won a national championship, which I was so proud of her because it ain't easy being the best in the world. You follow me? But I got to see my daughter compete at the highest level versus competitors, versus practice for years to be that good, to actually win a championship and be the best. They get those white jackets. She gets a championship ring. And I'm like, that's good, right? That's good. And you know what she said to me? Could have been a little bit better, Dad. And I go, you are my kid. That's for sure. She's like, I could have hit it a little bit better. And I'm like, girl, you won it all, okay? Y'all won it all, okay? So I got a 13-year-old daughter, put her in the car. Then I have a 5-year-old son who's the sweetest little boy in the world. Then I got a 3-year-old daughter who will just punch you right in the face if you look at her the wrong way. You with me? And I put them in the car in the morning. I look at my 13-year-old, and she looks at me. She goes, "We're going to do something big today, Dad." And then she looks at me and says, "Because the amateurs are never going to make it." Does that sound true, yes or no? The amateur insurance people never going to make it. Okay? Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. You think I feel like prospecting every day? You think I feel like following up with people 7 to 15 times? You think I feel every time I walk in this building and I know I got a $50,000 a month payment on this building? Guess what that motivates me to do? Pick up that phone. Because I like the feeling of the building more than I hate the feeling of doing something else. Everybody with me? See, some of you, your goals ain't big enough. You don't have something pushing on you like this. You're comfortable. You've settled to a place of mediocrity. I set big goals and big targets to push me and challenge me. I'm already building another one of these in Cool Springs. And my wife said to me one day, she's like, "You don't even have this one all working right." I said, "I've seen enough to make a decision. I've seen enough to know when I bring people together, good things happen. I've seen enough to know that we can make money. I've seen enough to know that good things are going to happen. I don't have to have every office rented here to make a decision." Everybody with me? And you don't need more money, you need more people. The people have the money. And they're different people in different markets. So when you think about this, what I want you to think of is when I put them in the car, I put my 13 daughter, and then I put my son, and I go, "You're going to be great today, son. You're going to do something big today. I'm proud of you." Okay? I grew up without my father. Not a bad dude. He just didn't know how to be a great dad. He never put me in the car in the morning going to school. He didn't come to baseball games. So when I look at my son, I signed up last night to coach his baseball team. And I go, "I'd be happy to coach my son's baseball team." You with me? And I went and told him, I said, "Man, I'm so excited I get to coach you. I get to be your coach this year in T-ball." Why? Because I didn't have a dad who did that. You with me? Matters to me to put him in the car and say, "I love you. You're going to do big things today." Okay? Then I put my 3-year-old in the car and I look at her and I go, "Energy and motion. Energy and motion. Money follows energy and motion." She goes, "Energy and motion, Dad. Energy and motion." You think I put them in the car and I say, "Why don't you guys go gradually settle to a place of mediocrity today?" Anybody do that with their kids? Then why do adults do it? We get comfortable. Satisfied needs never motivate. Only unsatisfied needs. So what are we pursuing? Now, if you're in our coaching program, and Chase has been in there for the last 2 years, basically we do an exercise at the beginning of every coaching program, and it's every single freaking day. I do this exercise every single day. When I get to my office in the morning, I go straight to my board and I go, "I'm at A, and this is my current position in life. And this is what I don't like about my current position." Now, why would I start with something I don't like? Satisfied needs never what? Where there's no pain, there's no change. Truth is, I would love to tell you after coaching people for 35 years that people are motivated by potential, but they're not. You know what they're motivated by? Being sick and tired of being sick and tired of something. Hey, this is Coach Micheal Burt. I'm here at the Greatness Factory today, the Level 10 podcast studio. And as you can see behind, I got new imaging. I got a new concept. The big table is a metaphor for the biggest opportunities that are available to you that you're trying to work toward in your life. We're going to go to work on activating 3 parts of your nature. You first. That's science of winning. That's habits of the top 1%. That's the language that we use every single day. That's the activation of prey drive. That's the A to B exercise that we do. And then we're going to go to work on your business. And the business is got these 6 core components, right? The activation of your team's prey drive, the explanation of value, the lead generation system, the follow-up and conversion, the engagement after the sale. We then move to activating your wealth. 8-figure people stuck in 6-figure vehicles. How do we expose you to some of the best thought leaders in the world as it relates to what's going on in the market, how to make investments, how to raise capital, and put all this together, folks, and we are getting a seat at a much bigger table. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. I can't wait for you to see this podcast. It's called The Big Table. We're going to help you secure your seat there. Follow along, engage with me, hit that subscribe button. Now, I'm working with a guy right now and just sold an insurance company for $123 million. And he said to me one night at dinner, he said, I heard you use this language, Coach. I heard you say that you're a great coach, but you're not a good manager. I've heard you say before that you have a boutique coaching firm. I've heard you say that you're a great coach, but you're not always a great boss. And I go, I have said those things. How many of you guys have said those things? I don't want to manage a bunch of people. How many of y'all said that? Okay, here's what he said. That is a limiting belief. He said, you need to quit saying it. You need to quit talking about it. You need to quit speaking it. He said, you're never going to get to the kind of numbers that you want to get to with a small number of people. No matter how good you are and how good they are. Everybody with me? Okay, because I hear people say, I need to build this agency. I need to build this company. I need to do this. And then their actions are out of alignment with what they want because they don't ever recruit. They don't ever go out and get any new people. They don't ever have any conversations. They don't ever hire people because deep down in their psyche, they go, man, I don't want to manage people. I'm not good at managing people. And then he said this to me. You know how many people I manage, Coach? I said, how many? He said, 4. I have 750 agents. I manage 4. He called it span of control. These are the only 4 people I talk to. I do 1.5 hour session a week of coaching, coaching my people. I actually work less with 750 people than working more. I actually make more than working less. I want you to think about this. Everybody with me? And if you're out there saying that, so if I ask you today, what do you want? You say, I don't like being small. I don't like not making enough money. I don't like this. I don't like that. This will actually motivate you because where there's no pain, there's no change. So routinely, I'll pull out a list and I'll put a list of things that I'm tired of messing with. Okay? And when I'm really upset, I don't use the word messing. I'm like, I'm tired of messing with this, man. I'm tired of playing small. I'm tired of playing at a baby level. I'm tired of making baby money. I'm tired of this. And I'm so sick of it, I'm ready to do something about it today. Because listen to what I'm about to tell you. Your prey drive is activated typically by an external factor that affects something internally inside of you. Everybody see that? See, that statement he said to me that night activated my prey drive to grow, to expand, to get bigger. Okay? So we do the exercise A to B. This is what you don't like, and this is what you do like. This is what you want. This is what I call the big table. This is the biggest game in business. I want to exit. I want cash flowing businesses. I want to coach 3 days a week. I want to coach my son's team. I want a lake house, whatever it is you want. Okay? I want to fly private. Whatever. Whatever it is you want. Now, here's the problem. As soon as you write it up there, what's the real problem? Jeremy, when somebody decides what they want, what problem do they face then? I could pick on Jeremy because he's my neighbor. And this man right here probably gets out and walks around a subdivision more than anybody in the subdivision, okay? He's walking at 6 in the morning. He's walking at 6 at night. There goes Jeremy again. He's moving and moving and moving. And so we'd had a neighbor just move into our subdivision that tried to build the biggest house in the subdivision, didn't he? Yes, he did. And I look across at the house and I go, son of a bitch. You trying to get in our subdivision and right? Owns all the dealerships, car dealerships. He's in there, built this big, huge house. Then he's got a house behind his house. Then he's got another house over there. And I'm like, good for you, man. Maybe I should have got into the car selling business, okay? So once a person knows what they want, what problem do they have then? Okay, they don't know what to do next. So this is why I say when I don't know what to do, I do something. Is there always something to do, yes or no? There's always somebody to call. There's always somebody to follow up with. There's always a deal to be had. There's always somebody to work. There's always a client to call. There's always... So when I don't know what to do, I do something. And I do anything that would move me toward that goal. So if I had an insurance business, here would be my goal. I want to build this business to a certain amount of profit. And if I want to exit that business, I'm going to go ahead and start telling my brain, this is what I'm doing. So you would see me write up on my goals, I'm working with cash flowing businesses, or I own cash flowing businesses with big exits. Everybody with me? I have cash flowing businesses with big exits. Cash flowing businesses with big exits. Now, I can get there the other day, and I'm working on a new book right now called Screw Your Why, WHY, because I don't think you should find your why to do something big. Okay? Yeah, you can screw your wife too. But I'm writing this book because I do fundamentally not believe that just by knowing your purpose means you're going to be motivated. I could know that God put me on earth to coach people and not feel like coaching people today. You could know what you're here to do and not want to do it today. So what do you do then? You go back and say, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Oh, I'm supposed to be an insurance person. I'm supposed to help people with their insurance, and that's why I'm doing this. No, I don't believe that. I believe you need things to activate this drive. But first, you got to know where you're going. So in between A and B are two things, and Chase mentioned it. There's action, and there's who can help me. So in that book, I actually mapped out how many different ways that I have used to generate income. And it's actually 40 different ways. There's 40 different ways that I have used one skill to make money. Okay? I can partner with people. I can strategically partner with people. So I'm trying to go from A to B. B is where I'm trying to go. Now, what is the power? Now, who is who I need? What coach do I need? What partner do I need? What people do I need? This is who can help me move from A to B. Okay? But I got to be activated by something, guys. If I'm not activated, what's the first reason people are not activated? They don't have anywhere to go. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. So if it were me, I'd be saying, I'm going to build this insurance business. I'm going to try to get to this amount of profit and EBITDA. I'm going to try to sell this thing for this multiple. Okay? Now, why? I don't even know, because I coach a lot of people that have sold their businesses that have a bunch of money, but they don't have any meaning. Everybody with me? Now, why don't they have meaning? Because they got nowhere to get up and go to. They got nothing to do. But to win a championship, we got to set a target. So what is the target of the insurance business? Is it to make a little bit of money? Is it to give you some excess cash? Is it to buy you a lake house? Or is it to go get a score and build this thing and really go right and make a bunch of money so all your future days are paid for? Then you can do what you want, when you want, with who you want, if that's your goal. But you need some kind of target. So the way I set it up is like this. I have 5,000 members in my coaching program, and I got 50 greatness factories. That's one of my big B's. Why? Because I know if I have 5,000 members and 50 greatness factories, that many of my other goals will come true. Because you don't need more money, you need more people. Everybody see that? I do this exercise every day. Why do I do it every day? Why do I write it down? What's the purpose of doing it every day? What's the purpose of writing it down? Yeah. Programs it in my subconscious mind. Tells my brain, see, this little 3-pound piece of machinery works for me. I don't work for it. I tell it what we're doing. I tell it where we're going. I tell it what we're manifesting. I tell it what we're creating. You go there in the mind before you go there in the body. All things are created twice. Everybody with me? So when you wake up, it's like, this is where this insurance business is going. And I need direction. And so I need the right coaching. I need the right partnerships. I need the right people. Okay? Some of the people that I've coached over the last few years, when they come into me, they're like, I want to have a profitable insurance business, and I want it to be successful. And probably within the next 2 years, I'm going to help them sell the business probably $40 million or more. When they came to me, they just said, I need a coach. I just need to sell a little bit more insurance. Right? 2 or 3 years later, we're selling that puppy for $40 million. That's a big difference. Everybody, yes or no? Yes. What really happened to them? Prey drive was activated. So what activates this drive? Let's look at what activates the drive. Okay, and Chase, you can kind of let me know where we are on time, okay? When I'm supposed to be finished.
Let her rip.
Okay, so there's 3 phases to this drive. Number 1, the prey drive must be activated.
I have no idea where we're at.
How often must it be activated?
I want you to go.
Every single freaking day. Could I go to bed last night motivated and wake up deactivated? Yes or no? Yes. Life knocks the shout out of you, man.
Yeah,
you come into the world screaming and life knocks it out of you. So when you think about it, the prey drive has to be activated every day. So how do we activate that drive every day? We go look at the 4 parts of our nature. There's a body, there's a mind, there's a heart, and there's a spirit.
Give him 10 more. What time are we at right now?
So let's say I woke up this morning feeling deactivated. Okay? Now today, I have got a gentleman coming in that I'm going to be interviewing who's probably a billionaire. This building, the 505 that you're sitting in right now, this building was built by a guy named Tony Giarratana. Giarratana also built the Alcove, the Viridian, the Cumberland. Any major high-rise that you see on this street, he developed it. You know the first time he went to build the first one, 67 banks turned him down? He had to go to Europe to get the money. He now goes out to the market, raises $250 million, $250 million, and he builds something like this building. You know who his investors are? Nick Saban, Michael Dale. That's who I'm interviewing today. That's the kind of people I want in here. You follow me? People who have done big things. Do you think there's days that he wakes up and he goes, man, I don't feel like doing this. I'm almost 70 years old and I don't feel like going into battle today. Is that possible? Yes or no? Okay. So how do people activate their drive? Body is physical. Okay. Now you're going to think I'm crazy, but if you're not cold plunging, that's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. Cold plunge. Got one right there at my house. I got one in my office. All of my offices have cold plunges. Okay. 3 minutes in that thing will wake you up quick. You with me? So if you're deactivated, now while I'm doing that, I'm also doing something for my faith. So I'm typically listening to a sermon. Okay, so this morning I woke up, first thing I did was listen to a song called I'm Gonna Be Somebody Someday. First thing I do is listen to something positive. Then I shift to a sermon. Then I go get in the cold plunge. Okay? Then I do some type of physical exercise. I may do a 9-minute. Okay, I'm into all kinds of things. Tai Chi. It's good for old guys in here. There's a lot of old dudes in here. Tai Chi be good for you. 9-minute workout, tightens your core, gets you ready. Simple. Then I spend the next 45 minutes with my kids before they go to school, and that feeds my heart. Then when they get going, I listen to something on business, and that feeds my mind. Now, I woke up deactivated, and through this little routine I got here, guess what I can do? I can go from being deactivated to what? Boom. 86% of the wealthiest people in the world have a structured routine in the morning. Why? They have some type of something that gets them going. They don't always feel like it. So amateurs listen to their feelings. This is how I activate my drive, body, mind, heart, and spirit. Number 2, there must be a persistence to this drive. This is where you need structure. Okay? So what is persistence? It is, Dabo Swinney said once at Auburn, it is the ability to suck the sour to get to the sweet. Navy SEALs call it embrace the suck. Okay? These are things you got to do every day to win that you may not want to do. So there's a period of my life I was trained by a Marine. His name was Rod Key, and he trained us at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it was 5 business dudes, and we'd roll in there at 4:59, and we were struggling and looked awful, and he would meet all 5 of us at the door. And as we were walking in the morning, he would say, "Good morning, ladies." 5 dudes. He'd say, "It's about time you get your mind ready for what your body is about to do. And you ain't going to like me for the next hour, but you are going to love me when we are finished." We started every day off of that. When I think about prospecting, you know what my brain does? Let's get our mind ready for what our body's about to do. Everybody with me? We're going to get on the phones. We're going to work deals. We're going to follow up people. We're going to make things happen. We're going to get our mind ready. There's a structure. So my goal is 30 touches a day. I like to have 30 touches a day, per day. Who am I calling? Current clients, past clients, potential clients, strategic partners. And I'm trying to move this thing toward a goal. I'm trying to push everything toward that big goal. So persistence requires a structure. Number 3, there must be an intensity. This is what is missing in most businesses. Okay, intensity is I need timelines and targets. So if you ever study how to really scale something or grow something, they always use time as a tool. When Kennedy had 7 things he wanted to do, when he stood up and told America we were going to put a man on the moon, he actually said there's 7 things we're going to do in the next X number of years, right? And kind of number 7 was we're going to put a man on the moon because he felt like we were getting behind. He felt like other countries are getting ahead. And he's like, we got to do something big. We got to do something big to let people know we are a player, right? And he kind of just come up with this concept, we're going to put a man on the moon in X number of years. Now, When they really dissected that, they actually said they could have done it in a much faster time period if they would have got serious about it. You with me? They kind of took their time and did a bunch of things. And if they would have actually said, we're going to do it in 3 years, they probably could have done it in 3 years. If I decided today I'm going to have 50 greatness factories in the next 3 years, that timeline would force me to think different, move different, have a different intensity. It forced me to market different. It would force me to pick up the phone, talk on social media. It would force me to do this. When I took a job at Riverdale High School, I told the principal, I will bring you something nobody's ever brought you, which is a championship. And he said, how long is it going to take you? And I said, within the next 10 years. It took me 9 years. And the school won 8 state championships over the next 10 years. You with me? Took me a decade to build it. Then the expectation was set. But we did it in 9 years. Could we have done it faster? I don't know. If I would have got more serious about it earlier, who knows? So I want you to tell the person beside you, and then I got one more thing, then we'll get you moving. Where do you struggle the most? Is it daily activation of your drive? Is it persistence? And if we study the habits of the top 1% of performers, okay, this is all in the book, by the way. If we study, hand me that book right there. This is what it looks like. Don't it look good? Okay, that's a good looking book, folks. Okay. Do you know that I wrote this book? Took me 2 years to write this book. I turned it into my publisher. You know what they said to me? We want you to go back and do it again. Here's what she said to me. I've read it, and you got another gear in you. I'm like, woman, don't use my stuff against me. I went back and wrote it again. Took me another whole year to write it. Took me 18 books to have a Wall Street Journal bestseller. That's the first Wall Street Journal bestseller. 18. That's how many times I just kept working it and working it and working. You know the difference on 18? I hired a coach. He told me exactly how to do it. This is how we're going to make it. So when you think about persistence, if you study the habits of the top 1% of insurance people in the world, 2 of the habits they have is grit and resilience and the ability to lock in and see something through to its conclusion. You can't knock these people down. They just keep winning. They just keep winning. So look up there and tell the person beside you where you struggle the most. And be honest, because all progress starts by telling the truth. Where do you struggle the most in these 3 areas? All right. Now, he asked me where I struggle. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I have been coaching people now for 35 years. I'm 3 decades into doing the exact same thing. I actually started when I was 15 coaching basketball. I was the head coach at Riverdale at 22. I retired at 31. I've been coaching adults ever since. If you think I wake up and feel like coaching people every day, you would be wrong. I don't. If you think I wake up and I'm positive every day, I'm not. If you think I don't fight the same battles you do, you would be wrong. If you don't think when I get home at night and it's time to play with those 3 kids, I'm not tired, I am. What I have learned to do is condition my mind and get myself to a level that I can activate that drive anytime I need to. Everybody with me? And I do not listen to my feelings. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. So when you think about this, at any given time, we all struggle. Just the other night, somebody said something to me and it reactivated my drive. Rejection can reactivate your drive. Somebody making fun of you can reactivate your drive. Conflict can reactivate your drive. I really encourage you to ask yourself today, is your prey drive activated? Have you gone dormant? Have you let it go latent and undeveloped? Are you in an environment where you can get activated over and over and over and over? The reason I'm so adamant that people be in a coaching program is because the coaching program brings a structure to you when you don't feel like doing it. There's a consistency, there's a structure, there's a coach, there's an environment of positive expectancy. Because after 35 years, here's what I notice about people. Left to our own devices, we all contract to a place of comfort until something is stimulating us to play at a much higher level. By coming here, you should be thinking way bigger than when you came. You should be asking hard questions about your insurance business. Where do you really want to go? What do you really want to do? How do you activate this drive every single day? Are you an amateur or are you a pro? Do you want to make the pro money? Because the people I'm coaching, guys, are cashing out 40, 50, 60, 100 million. The people I'm coaching have got big, big futures. And listen, they all know they need a coach. So it's crazy. I said one day, the wealthy people I coach act as if they're poor. And the people who don't have money I coach act as if they're rich. The work ethic is totally different. You with me? So you got to ask yourself where you want to go. And here's the big question you got to ask yourself. Who is the most qualified person to help you get there? You're here the last 2 days because Chase is here. Chase has been a student of our work, and he's pouring into you. Okay? Those that have a coach always outperform those that don't. Minimum of 3 to 4 times, if not more. So the question is, what changes are you going to make in your life? I'm going to get my butt up in the morning. I'm going to get some kind of routine going. I'm going to get back to reading the Bible like I used to. I'm going to do this like I used to. I'm going to spend more time with my kids. I'm going to volunteer. What type of thing do you need to shift today that would help you go pro, guys? I'll close with this. Wouldn't it be a shame to get to the end of our lives and say, what if our whole life was wrong? And we still got a song to sing. I've studied regret. I know what people regret. You don't have to wait till later to get there. You can make a decision today. I am going to get better. Everybody needs a coach in their life. Thanks for being the Greatness Factor. We're going to have a great day today, guys. Love you.